Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the HR and Payroll 2.0 podcast. I'm Pete Tiliakis, and it's just me this time, coming to you with a special set of, I think, 6 episodes in total here that I recorded live at the Chartered Institute of Payroll Professionals annual conference and exhibition, the CIPP ACE, over in Newport, Wales. Thank you so much to Jason Davenport for having me. I was able to attend this for the first time, spoke on a panel on AI. I got to talk global technology selection. And just what an event. The learning was fantastic. The networking was fantastic. It was really a who's who of UK practitioners and leaders and innovators and vendors and consultants, you name it. So good to see everybody get together. Thank you for welcoming me. We had a wonderful time. It was a great party. One night, there was a really nice dinner and an awards ceremony. Shout out to all the winners. So many vendors you would know, and so many folks you would know. There's just too many to list. But I hope you'll enjoy these episodes. Again, these were recorded live. And these conversations range everywhere from kind of taking the pulse of what's going on in the UK environment for payroll practitioners and leaders and innovators to the work that the CIPP is doing as an embedded resource with the HMRC, helping them with their transformation initiative. Just some really cool stuff going on out there. And I thought it'd be great to bring that to you. So these are audio only, and I hope you'll enjoy them. And look, stick and stay with Julie and I. She and I will be back with more episodes on the way. We are really cranking them out and trying to get the ad-free education just off to another level next year in 2026. So stay with us. Help us out. Share, like, download, subscribe. All of that helps us out. Give us a review. Let a friend know if you don't think they're listening yet. And everyone's welcome, right? And we hope you're enjoying the education here. And thank you. We really appreciate you. So we'll be back soon. And thank you so much for all your support. Okay, Sam O'Sullivan, policy lead at the CIPP. Welcome to HR and Payroll 2.0 podcast. Congratulations. The ACE is off to an amazing start. That was a fantastic keynote kickoff. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing. What's going on?
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Thanks for inviting me to come and speak to you today.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Cool. Good question,
yes.
Right? So the policy team's remit at the CIPP is, I like to explain us as the go-between between governments and our members. So in the keynote, you will have seen Angela McDonald.
Yes,
She's deputy CEO essentially at HMRC. That's not her official title, but I can't remember off the
boss
top of my
lady.
head. She's the boss lady.
Is she collecting all the money?
Yeah. Do you know what? But what a whopping amount of money.
Right?
That
$475 billion by way of payroll taxes, right?
Yeah, so
that's half of the...
It's over, I think.
Wow.
That is the collection of pay-as-you-earn income tax and national insurance or social security that we are gathering via employment income. So it's huge.
It is, yeah.
And I'm sure globally, but especially in the UK, we have this concern that payroll isn't seen as a strategic partner.
Yes, same.
It's not a strategic
It's a global
function.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember my first job in payroll. We were literally in a locked office. We were completely shut out of the way.
Right.
And people don't actually need to contact payroll if everything's going smoothly.
Yeah.
And I think that's some of the reasoning why we're not seen as a key strategic partner. So for all of our delegates at ACE to hear the boss lady from HMRC stand up and say, well done, and thank you for everything that you're contributing to the economy.
I know.
That's massive.
I love it.
So
for those that don't know, explain what the HMRC is, because it's probably the IRS for us, but explain that.
So HMRC, His Majesty's Revenue and Customs.
Okay.
So it's our custom and revenue tax authority. The part that we're focused on is the revenue side, rather than the customs, the imports and the exports. But hey, maybe the customs is our globally mobile workforce, right?
I know. So look, they're going through a major transformation, digital transformation and otherwise. And also I'm curious about the tax gap that they talked about. Is that like tax loss, a leakage or something that they think? Or so tell me about those two things. I'd love to learn.
Yeah, the tax gap is what they're referring to as uncollected taxes. So disguised remuneration, where people maybe are paid a bonus rather than earnings. It's things like that. So it's all those uncollected taxes that are essentially slipping through the net.
Right. Okay.
Dishonest players in the field of tax advice. And we spoke about that in the keynote speech as well.
Right.
HMRC are looking at bringing payroll service providers, so what we deem to be outsourced or bureau, into the remit of being a tax advisor.
Okay.
Now, especially in UK payroll, we are taught you don't give advice, because we don't give advice. We are a compliance function.
Not attorneys and
And we operate within very strict regulation and legislation, tax thresholds and bans. There's not much playing around with how much tax or social security you're going to pay when you're employed. But HMRC have changed the definition of tax advisor to anyone who interacts with HMRC on their behalf.
Do you think that's the right move? Do you think that's a little bit too much, or do you think that's proper? Or
there's a barrier at the moment and a bit of concern with using the definition of tax advisor.
Right.
So some individuals who provide payroll services, if they're now deemed to be a tax advisor, are their clients going to expect to start receiving tax advice?
Right. Great point.
And they'll be pushed into a market that they're not actually wanting to go into. It's not commercially viable. It's not what they're there to do.
Yeah.
So our stance with HMRC is you need to think about the framing of this. Is tax advisor really the terminology you want to use? Tax agent, tax intermediary? If we remove the advice element, I think that will settle the concern, especially through our members.
Right. Yeah, I love that you guys are so influential with this organization, right? I mean, I'm not so sure that other countries could say the same in terms of how they treat payroll. And I think it's a massive, massive step forward for the profession, right? It's shining a light on what we've all known, is that the importance of payroll and the impact of the professionals are not bookkeepers and clerks. They're tax professionals, they're compliance professionals, they're business leaders. Let's be honest here. So talk to me a little bit about the embedded nature of what you're doing. I was really, really excited to hear you have a resource now that is a leader from CIPP that will be embedded with the HMRC to work with them on their transformation.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's that going to be like?
It's going to be a huge
and
loss.
Is that a first thing? Have you guys always done this, or is that new?
It's the first time for the CIPP, which is huge. What it's going to mean to me, look, I'm gutted to be losing a member of my team.
I know.
Right?
But think of the valuable impact and the knowledge he's going to bring back.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I know I joked with Angela in saying, you're not allowed to keep Matt. He is my right-hand man in policy.
Yeah.
But as I explained to our delegates, the benefit that we will see as an industry from having his expertise within HMRC, the fact that that policy measure will look the way we want it to. So we're really shaping how that turns out.
Right.
And the knowledge that he's going to bring back exactly what you said.
Tremendous. So, but just to be able to influence from the inside versus being dictated to and having a say in this, I think is just a massive step forward kudos. Congrats. I don't know how this came about, but whatever you did, I'd love to see others do this. It would be amazing.
Yeah. Do you know what? I have always kind of took real pride in, I talk to everyone exactly the same way that I would be spoken to, whether I'm speaking to a CEO or an apprentice. And at HMRC, we have built really, really strong relationships.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
With their leaders.
Payroll has to have those relationships too, you know?
And the way that came about really was from a conversation with one of the directors at HMRC where they said, we don't have time to start from scratch. We haven't got time to start with a blank sheet of paper.
They've got to tool the plane while they fly it.
And I said, well, we know that, but you have all of these reams of paper that you have this plan written down on. What you need is us to come in, take out all the sheets that you don't need, and we'll leave you with the essence of what is required. So you get what you want, but so industry gets what we want too.
Right.
And I said it quite flippantly. I said, you need to second one of us in. You know, you don't have the payroll expertise within HMRC to implement this change.
Right.
And 2 months later, I got the email to say, we want to second a member of your team in, which is amazing. I think we'll get quite a few pats on the back this conference by securing that with HMRC.
I got the impression, was it Sally, the lady that was speaking?
Angela, sorry,
Angela. McDonald, right?
Yes.
Yes, from the HMRC. I got the impression that she's a very big champion of this. She seemed very just a different type of leadership speak than I've heard from some of these other agencies.
She's so open and so honest. The fact that even in her keynote delivery, she says, we're improving call times, we're improving response times, but we know for a fact it still falls under par. And for that, we apologize. I have never seen anyone like Angela before in her seniority, let's say, stand up and actually take ownership of that.
Yeah.
And that's why she went down so well a couple of years ago when she delivered our keynote speech. That's why we can always rely on her to give a really engaging session. So the fact that it was virtual and we didn't know how that would land, when I said, look, can we have a sit down chat? I knew she'd say yes. And actually, it was a really great experience. And it just goes to show that strengthening relationship that we have. We really are a critical friend to HMRC.
Yeah. I mean, that number, 475 billion almost, I think it was, or right about that.
Yeah.
That gets people to listen. I mean, and it should have always had people's attention. And now it's great to see that. But what do you expect to come out of this, say, in the short term, after 18 months, maybe 3 years, 5 years down the road? Like, what does this look like? And does the CIPP maybe stay embedded in this way somehow?
Yeah. Do you know, in regards to the secondment opportunity, so this is all around payrolling our benefits in kind and expenses. So at the minute, if someone has a company car, for example, they have to pay the tax on that in the following tax year, almost 18 months
it's like
after.
An accrual or something. Yeah.
Almost 18 months after they've actually received that benefit, the car in this example. What HMRC's plans are is that you pay the tax for that car at the time you receive the car, which makes complete and utter sense.
Yeah.
However, it's all built on legacy systems. So our current tax system, the way that we report information to HMRC, real-time information, that hasn't had an update since 2013.
It's probably most countries are like that. There's a lot of digitization, I think. I think Australia's kind of forward on this, gotten some progress. But you're right. There's a lot of countries, especially the US, that could really do a lot more on this front to digitize.
And that's the reason why I asked. You know, modernization sings really loud and clear through that, through the roadmap that HMRC have published. You can't move forward with an old bit of kit, essentially. You need to update that. So is that in the plan? Angela's response was, no, not right now, but it will be at some point. So again, as I said, I always talk to people with just a level playing field. I said to her, when you do, please come to us. And she said, we'll be the first people to hear.
That's great.
It's that human nature that helps with those ever strengthening relationships. Whether the CIPP stays seconded into HMRC, do you know what? I almost hope not, because I need my team.
You need your team. But I mean, at least you would keep that dialogue going, I would imagine. I mean, it is interesting the thought of having a badged and CIPP member embedded in the HRMC, even if maybe you guys rotate people through there. It'd be a great learning exercise for you guys, and I think contribute to the government on a day-to-day basis, right? Where you guys could be very close together in that effort. So very, very cool. So what do you think is next, though, for this? I mean, can you see you guys doing more projects together, maybe working on other initiatives as this goes along? I'm sure this is going to be rolled out in pieces and
so that's due to come into play from April 2027.
Okay.
So we've got
so this is a multi-year phased approach,
Yeah, we've got a bit of time. The policy team at the CIPP have pulled together a cross-body working group with tax, payroll and software experts. So we really wanted to facilitate a non-HMRC conversation as to what we want to see come out of this new policy measure. So we know now that Matt is going into HMRC, we will have regular dialogue. And when Matt comes back into the CIPP, hopefully that stays open, that open conversation continues. But that's just one piece of the puzzle, really. In policy, we sit on a number of government stakeholder forums. So it's open conversation around government wants to do this. What are your thoughts? How's that going to land with your members? I've just been given the role of co-chair of HMRC's primary employment and payroll forum, which is great. So I get to help set the agendas, ask for speakers, put topics of conversation forward as to what we know needs to be discussed in the industry. So the secondment is a fantastic shining star right now, but that's the cherry on top. We've got a whole cake underneath of what the policy team are getting up to. So it's only ever going to bolster what we've already got there with HMRC. But I know we're really lucky as a UK professional body to have that level of relationship with our government.
This is really a milestone to me because the spirit of what we need is more executives behaving like this. Call payroll payroll should be at the table anyway. Hey, we're thinking about fill in the blank, merger and acquisition, large reorg design. We're talking about maybe adding some different compensation sets or whatever the case might be. I think any of those people decisions, there needs to be a payroll person at the table for the intersection of control, the intersection of compliance, and just all the things that underpin those decision making. I mean, do you think this is possible that this is going to set maybe a tone to say, hey, if the government is having payroll at the table, maybe why don't we have payroll at the table too? Do you think it could that perception could change a little bit by way of that, maybe as an example to businesses?
I would love to think that it would. So the benefit of the CIPP policy team and what we can give our members is a voice at a strategic level, but towards government. We obviously can't change where they're reporting within an organisation, but payrolling benefits, Angela said, it's going to impact 3.5 million people because it's going to change the way that their tax works. Hopefully, this will be that trigger of payroll is really important. We're going to have to change
475 billion worth.
We're gonna have to change the way that we do things. We're gonna have to change the way our systems work. You know, if an employer provides private healthcare, for example, as a benefit to their employees, that employer now needs to start speaking to that private healthcare provider.
Right.
How are you going to give me that information in real time? We can't work in a legacy process like we've done in the past. So this isn't just an industry change. This is a UK-wide change that we're about to embark on. So I'm hopeful, yes, that it will be the start of a future focus of payroll needing to be at the C-suite and needing to be at that top table. It's absolutely what we're advocating for at the CIPP.
Yeah. Do you feel that payroll needs to be maybe matrixed into the C-suite? Australia's working on that at certain revenue levels, I believe. And there's pushback, why payroll is the biggest P&L hit to most companies. It's the largest labor cost. It's the only process outside of accounting where, in a publicly traded firm where your C-suite can go to prison if payroll doesn't do their job. Do you think that that's necessary, or do you think it's more just about the engagement level of how payroll's being viewed?
I think they need to be at the C-suite. I honestly do. And I do sometimes wonder whether it's because, especially in the UK, payroll is not regulated like accountants are, like financial services are.
It's overlooked as an industry at all.
Yeah.
It's bookkeeping in most places. And that's just insane.
But everyone's got a HR director at the C-suite, right? Because they're head of people.
Right.
The one thing that we push for is, like I said, we can't change the way organizations structure themselves and who they have at that top table. But for people who aren't at the top table in a payroll role, what we urge them to do is make sure you've got really strong relationships with someone who is at the top table, who can voice your concerns. Because once those concerns start getting spoken about, they'll invite you in.
Yeah, agreed. We've done this with the Payroll Profession Confidence Index. We've shown that just the 3 and 4 and 5x impacts to value, to ROI, to communication, to collaboration, to so many things when executives are leaned into and championing payroll as a priority. And I think that's a big part of what the payroll role is going to have to be, is becoming like Big Four consultants, tax advisors, compliance advisors to their businesses, but coming out of their sort of transactional mindset and becoming leaders to lead their business versus being led. And it's really a big part of that is bringing their data and insights together to their executive team and building a relationship. And I think there's got to just be more of that. So look, thank you so much. Congratulations on everything that you guys have accomplished here. I think it's very, I don't know of another country, or organization working together like this. And so this is groundbreaking in a lot of ways. And I'm sure it's going to have tremendous impact for both the revenue stream of the government, but also the outcome, which is good for the people of the country, right? and also, the profession itself. So keep doing the work you're doing. And I hope we can maybe catch up, do a longer episode, maybe in a year or so, and see how things are going.
Yeah. Hey, we'll invite Matt once he's back.
We will.
Eh?
Yeah. Hopefully you don't lose him. Hopefully he stays. But what wonderful knowledge he's going to bring back. And I know you guys are really proud of that. So congrats.
Thank you, Pete.